Good morning, my darlings.
Good morning.
Thanks for tuning in to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. We have an awesome show lined up for you today, so stay tuned. And don't forget, we are the hottest show on the network, and this is how we do it. Don't touch that dial.
This is how we do it.
Good morning, and welcome
morning.
to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. I'm Jay Parker, sitting in with your host, Kelissa Bass, and we are so happy that you decided to join us this morning. So
Yes,
on
we
behalf of the Kelissa in the Morning Show, we're going to say,
Welcome.
and
Good morning, my darling.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing, Miss Kelissa?
I'm doing great. I'm happy.
Are you happy? Why are you happy?
I'm just happy just
Just-
because I'm happy.
Just because sort of morning.
Just
huh?
because.
I'm
Yes.
happy too.
Me too. Yeah.
For
So-
what? For everything. I'm just
For
happy.
everything.
Happy.
For being woke, for being alive, for being here,
Happy.
for being in your presence.
Hey, what's up? Yeah.
For being able to talk to all my listening audience. And I know they love me. I love you guys too. Thanks for tuning in.
We love y'all. We do. We have an awesome show lined up for you today.
Yes,
so
we
stay
do.
tuned. In case you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. Yes.
And if you haven't already, head over to my website, www.kelissabass.com, and pick up the book. It's an autobiography, Behind Closed Doors. And then there's a workbook called Mining for Success.
That's the workbook.
Two greatest books on the face of the planet.
On the face.
On the face of the planet.
The whole face.
That's right, the whole face.
So what's going on, Miss Kelissa? What you doing?
What am I doing? I'm doing a lot.
You are?
Yes, I am. And I'm so excited about the way my life is going right now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm really excited.
You got a big, strong marketing arm out there.
I know I do, and I'm so
Yeah.
excited. Shout out to Audra
Audra Gerger.
Gerger.
Audra, we love you, girl.
Right.
You know we do. How you doing, Audra?
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
That's what's
Yep.
up. So what are we talking about today?
Today, we are going to be talking with Monica Johnson, and she is an author, a life coach,
Okay.
a minister, an advocate, and she has a book that I read a little bit about yesterday.
Okay.
Talking about getting through the breakthrough.
Okay.
And,
So she's going to be joining us via telephone live.
yes, she
during
is.
this
Yes,
show.
she is. Yes, and Monica, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Well, hi there. How are you?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
We are doing great. We're so excited that you're here with us this morning.
Yeah.
I am grateful and thank you for this opportunity to be on your show.
Oh, you are so welcome. I'm excited that you made a choice to join us. Right, Jay?
Absolutely.
So, so how's your morning going so far?
You know what? It's really well. Actually, I have my second interview today on my video recording with the TED curator, so it's a really, really great day talking to you.
Okay.
And then my next stop is a prayer for that.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. You have a lot going on, and I read over your book and some of the things that you're doing on Google. So I put your name in, of course.
Oh, God.
I know, right? You should try it.
I better try that.
Exactly. Google your name, and you're like, oh, okay, she out here doing some stuff. So your book is called Making the Shift from Broken, or is it Broken to Breathtaking, right?
It's actually called Shift from Broken to Breathtaking.
Okay. So I was reading over the synopsis, and I thought, wow, okay. There was a quote that you said, and I was going to remember what that was, but it said something about what what the shift is from being broken to breathtaking. And so we're going to share with our listening audience today what that means, but we definitely want to thank you. We're going to give out the station ID
Right.
to the listeners.
Yeah, you're listening to WAEC Love 860. And so if you want to listen and watch live, you can log on into any handheld device or laptop, www.love860.com. and you'll click on Watch Live, and you can see us live. If you want to call in and be a participant on the show, ask any question you want to pertaining to the topic, you can reach us at 404-355-8699. If you're calling from anywhere around the country, like Houston, Texas, you can reach us at 866-923-2860.
That's right. And if you're in your car out there in all that traffic, which I'm sure Atlanta has plenty of, and it might be a little hot, you want to take your mind off the heat, then go ahead, touch that radio dial and tune in to 860 AM.
That's right.
That's right.
And so get involved with the show today. It's going to be very, very interesting. Our guest is not only a pastor, she's an author, an advocate, and so I'm sure that we're going to give out a lot of great, useful information to those who need it. So
that's right.
We want to honor our sponsors. That's Tabuth Foy.
Yes, out there in Texas with TNT Creations.
Yeah.
And she has a T-shirt and clothing company.
Absolutely.
Where the feeling of life begins.
Yes.
And tune in a little bit later and you'll be able to hear her commercial. It's actually awesome. And then we also want to thank Candace Ruffin. And I found out she's in Katy, Texas.
She's in Katy. Is that like a suburb of Houston?
I'm not really sure. I want to say maybe because I thought Houston, and so it may be close to there. But I was informed that it was in Katy. Yes, so
Texas.
She's doing some great, wonderful things out there. You definitely need to make sure that you follow her and find out what she's doing. She's doing some awesome things for the college students out there. And like I told you last week, she just did an event at the AME. And she gave away 1,000 of her signature care packages to the students for free.
1,000. That's 1,000% increase from last year, where she only did 100.
Well, a couple months ago, 100.
Well, a couple months ago.
But to get 100. To 1,000, that's awesome.
That means that the need is rising, and so the community needs an organization that can fill that need, because people need things.
That's right. That's right. And college students and a lot of times they don't think about those things that they need. And I think it's awesome that she's doing that she's helping them and then creating a need. And then also now, she's creating a need for herself, for God to bless her.
Absolutely. So into your need.
That's right. Exactly.
That's what's up. So we're going to talk a little bit about the book, Making the Shift.
Yes.
We're going to talk about making the shift in regards to the book.
Yes.
From broken to breathtaking.
That's right.
That's amazing. Explain that title. What made you come up with that title?
Well, it kind of is like a compilation of what I experienced as a little child. I don't know either one of my parents. Okay. My mother's lover killed my mom on her 21st birthday when I was 1 year old.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So there's already a shift there.
Yes.
And so when you're raised in 4 different homes and in several environments, you're not sure of who you are, what you are. I never saw a picture of my mother until I was 30 years old, and it was her obituary picture. So I had to make a lot of transitions. So what I realized was you can't let what happened break you, but you got to break open what is within you. That's how you shift.
Wow. That is powerful. So what are some of the things that you feel like that you can connect with the listeners to resonate with them, or so that they can resonate with you? What are some of the things that you had to deal with that you feel like right now were things that you had to make that shift to become where you are, or who you are today?
Well, first I had to overcome self-identity.
Okay.
I had to find out who I was.
Right.
I didn't, like when I said I never saw a picture of my mother. So growing up, you're looking like, well, who do I look like? Who do I resemble? What is all of this energy that I get? How is it that all these things that happened to me allow me? Because there was molestation. Yeah. There was domestic abuse, psychological abuse. So self-identity. And when you're looking for love, which a lot of us do, when you're broken, you'll seek love in any environment.
That's right.
And what I realized, though, is that it wasn't the external things that was going to heal me or allow me to make that shift. It had to come from within. Right. And that means that I had to get one-on-one with myself and figure out, well, who is Monica? What was Monica's purpose? What was she created to do? That's right. Now all these external things that happened define me. So I had to figure out that, okay, I don't know my mother. I'm raised in 4 different homes. Yet I was never hugged as a child until I was 26 years old. There was no physical touch,
Right.
no emotional touch. I wasn't claimed, so I was like abandoned as a child.
Right.
So all of those, the rejection, the abandonment, the low self-esteem, the self-identity, those things right there, if you don't get a grip of those things, they'll define you for the rest of your life.
That's right. They will. You are so right. Wow.
Wow.
Powerful.
That is so what part did your faith have to play in your healing?
Well, my faith played in my healing. I remember specifically June 5th, 1997. And when you guys were talking about Houston and Katy, Katy's like a suburb of Houston.
Okay.
I would travel. In 1 year, I traveled 86,000 miles on a car in 1 year. So I
Poor
was trying to
car.
find my identity. Get a poor car, right?
Right.
I'm sure you don't have that car anymore.
Right.
You know what? No, I do not. I'm 47 years old now.
Okay.
And so I was in my early 20s and still trying to figure out who I was. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, as a young child, they always tell you, you know, go get baptized, you know, go give your life to Christ.
Right.
But those were their decisions.
Right.
My decision.
Mm.
June the 5th, I called my road to Houston my Damascus Road.
Okay.
I remember June the 5th specifically. I asked God on my way down to Houston, my normal track, I would drive to Houston and turn around because I didn't know me. I was taking all my issues with me. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted approval of people. And on that specific day, I remember watching two women on a show, and these two women were like, oh, my gosh, you know, I'm 40 years old, just not getting myself together. Mm-hmm. And the vow that I made with God that day is that I'll give my life to you on that Damascus Road to Houston, that if you help me, if you allow me to be whole, if you heal me, I'll turn my life over to you. And I promise you, I will use my life to tell others about who you are. Because when you see me, you don't see the things I've been through. There's no residue of what I've endured.
And that's a
because of
blessing.
who Christ is, because of my faith.
Yes.
Wow. That is awesome.
I know. You have an awesome testimony, Monica.
Yeah. And so what
Oh, my God.
what did God reveal to you in regards to your responsibility to your healing?
Was that I needed to sit still.
Okay.
I need to sit still. I need to listen. It's not about religion. It's about relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I had to study the scriptures for myself.
That's right.
I can't believe what Grandma had told me or what Aunt had told me or what somebody else had told me. It's a direct relationship, a direct correlation to Him, one-on-one with Him. Mm-hmm. And all I had to do was say, okay, can you help me? Because at one point in my life, I couldn't even say, Jesus, help me.
Wow.
Because I was so broken.
Right,
Wow.
right.
Wow.
Right.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
And which brings me to a conversation we were having yesterday, me and Jay. Mm-hmm. And my book, Behind Closed Doors, it deals with a lot of things that I had gone through. And so I rarely try not to talk about that because there was physical abuse, sexual assault, in foster care, and then I ended up in a religious cult and, had to escape and so many things that I had gone through. While you're talking, I'm like feeling like, wow, this message that you have can reach so many people, but not only that, the message that I have can reach just as many people, because we can relate to what we've gone through. But not only what we've gone through, but what we've come over and gotten over, came through. Right. And so I think this is a perfect show, to reach out to say to the listening audience, your people, some of you may be going through or have gone through a lot in your life. And it's people like Monica Johnson, myself, we are able to say how you can get through that, how you can get over it, because God has blessed us to be able to come through it.
Right.
And so to be able to resonate with what you're going through post, I would like to say in childbirth, postpartum, you're going through a lot. It may be drug abuse, depression, addiction, whatever, just doing so many things or being involved with people who really do not understand or can't love you the way that God can love you. And so, I just think this is a perfect show.
It is. And it's amazing that until people hear voices like yours, Kelissa, and voices like Monica Johnson's, they don't even know that they're still wounded and broken.
That's right.
And a lot of times we let life mask our pain, mask our wounds. And a lot of times we take that pain and those wounds and we take them and and we introduce them into another relationship with another person, and then we treat them as if they're the ones that hurt us.
Right.
And instead of doing like Monica Johnson did and like you did, go ahead and ask the Lord to facilitate your healing.
Yes.
Your responsibility to it, you need to realize that and just move forward, keep it moving, and then have a testimony about it. Because this show right here, and especially having guests like Monica Johnson, is touching thousands of people. They might not call in, but they're being spoken to on a level that we can't even understand. And
it's when I heard her say that, she had to take a break. I called it my time out. How you do with kids. I had to take an adult time out.
Right.
And from that I went from Michigan to Toledo to Atlanta.
Looking.
Yeah. Because and I prayed every time. What do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? How do you want me to do this? And you have to make sure you have that relationship with him enough that that he's leading you and guiding you.
Right.
And so this is what I'm hearing from you, Monica, and I think is actually an awesome testimony to be able to hear someone else, not saying, it wasn't good what you went through, but the fact that you overcame that, it's just amazing to me. I love it.
Yeah.
And you know what else too? What we cannot do? We cannot over spiritualize dysfunction.
Wow.
We take scriptures and we over spiritualize it with the dysfunction with the scriptures, without understanding the knowledge and the depth behind them. And so that's why you see a lot of us with the chains still on, with us still in captivity, with our mindsets being blocked and not being illuminated, because we've heard the scriptures, but we've never applied the scriptures with action.
Right.
Wow. And that's amazing. And even though we go through, the Word of God says that we should count it all joy, and we should let patience have its perfect work, knowing that all things work for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And so not to over-spiritualize it, but you need to have that word in your heart so you can make some sense of the solution, not of the problem.
That's right.
And that you can continue to look forward. And, when bad things happen to you, at this stage in my relationship with Christ now, I just go, wow, something awesome must be down the road, because what just happened to me almost crippled a brother, but I, me and Kelissa were talking yesterday. It's not even about getting emotional. It's about thinking about your past and how God has brought you through, and then looking at the solutions that are in the Word, you know, and then not sharing with people that aren't believers your problem, or they'll put their mouth against you. And so,
and you know what? I'm sorry.
No, you're
continue,
fine. Go
please.
ahead.
What I also realized, too, is that at a point I had to stop asking why it happened, but what am I going to do with it?
Right.
Because if he trusted you with it, then what is a great outcome for it? And so when you begin, see, why makes you defensive, or what makes you victorious? And so I began to start asking what. This situation is for what? What am I to do with it? How am I to handle it? And what is a greater good from it?
Wow. That's a good way to look at it. And so do you find that minimizes the shock of the trauma of what's going on in your life?
No, you know what? Because in the first grade, I got ran over by a car, so I was drug 100 feet. So I wouldn't say it minimized it, because I got hit in October, and I couldn't go back to school no more until that next year.
Wow.
So it knocked my teeth out.
Ooh.
So I've always had to deal with the physical. So if you see a picture of me, I don't like anything I've been through. I fell 18 feet off a bridge, landed on my back, and break a bone.
Ooh.
I've had brain surgery. So I don't think it minimizes the shock, but I think it makes me allow that if he could trust me with all this, there's got to be a greater good for it, because he gave me a voice for it.
Wow.
And so I'm the voice now that's going to speak to it and show you that you don't have to become what has defined you by what society standard says. See, society told me I wasn't going to be anything because I had so much stacked up against me. But society never asked this little girl what she wanted to become.
Right. Wow.
They should have asked. Well, joining us live via telephone is Monica Johnson. You're listening to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. It's time to take a break. Don't you touch that dial, because we'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial.
Don't you do it.
You're just in time to upgrade your T-shirt experience. TNT Creations has a clothing line available soon that will change the way you feel about T-shirts. For ordering information, call 832-872-5802. That's 832-872-5802. TNT Creations clothing line, where the feeling of life begins.
What if a mission cared for doing things strictly for the good of others? What would happen in a world where that was the norm? That's right, we would see real change. That's what Greater Works Missions sets out to do, to make real change. Greater Works Missions is helping others across the country by giving away their signature care packages to college students and those in need, all for free. Headed by Candace Ruffin of Houston, Texas. She's leading her mission with passion, determination, and care, making her change now the new norm. Extraordinary leader, extraordinary mission, extraordinary change. For more information or to support this mission, contact www.gwmissions.com or call her at 832-696-3964.
Hey, there you are. Welcome back. In case you just tuned in, you're listening to the Kelissa in the Morning Show.
That's right.
We are live via telephone with Monica Johnson. And I need to go ahead and toot your horn before we continue our discussion. Is that okay, Miss Monica? I'm going to toot, toot, like that last Trump, toot, toot.
Right.
We'll go ahead and put the shofar to it. You ready? We're going to tell you a little bit about Monica Johnson. Monica Johnson is an author, life coach, minister, and a business professional with over 24 years of experience in cost, taxation, and operational management with a Fortune 100 company. A skilled and credentialed entrepreneur and sought-after speaker, Monica speaks frequently throughout the United States of America and internationally. She is widely known for her contribution to Epitome Magazine, which is published by her husband, Todrick Johnson. Hey, Mr. Johnson, we hope you're listening.
Right.
Under the segment, Word of Wisdom with one word. That Monica is a graduate of the University of North Texas and holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in accounting, a Master's of Business Admin from the University of Dallas, and a
Wow.
Master of Theological Studies from Dallas Baptist University. Just too busy to be real. I tell you what, that's what's, it's like, oh my God,
Right.
I haven't done a thing in life yet.
Oh my God.
Oh, but I'm not finished. She used her engaging personality with contagious energy and her experiences as a professional and personal coach to spur people to action, conquer their problems, pursue their dreams, and find their own sparkle and shine. She speaks the truth in love without holding anything back. Monica empowers others, especially women, to search within and discover how to reach their highest potential, both personally and professionally. After a session with Monica, they leave motivated and inspired to engage, enriched, empowered, and smart. Before becoming a life coach and professional speaker, Monica began her professional career in management with a Fortune 100 company where she has provided leadership and cost taxation services for more than 24 years. Her experiences as a corporate professional helped her develop a better understanding of her gifts and talents. After realizing her gifts as a motivational speaker, minister, mentor, and life coach, she embarked upon helping others change their lives for the better. Wow. This also inspired Monica to write her first book, Shift from Broken to Breathtaking. Don't let what happens to you break you. Let me say that again.
Right.
Shift from broken to breathtaking. Don't let what happens to you break you. Let it break open what is in you. That's awesome.
Isn't it?
Which is available now. Monica is founder and CEO of Monica Johnson Enterprises, LLC, which includes the brands That Girl Is Smart, acronym SMART, publishing house, and One Word Movement Charities, a nonprofit organization for mentoring young girls. She achieves all of this while being a wife and a mother of two. Monica and her family live in Frisco, Texas. Again, welcome, Monica.
Yes.
You got me out of breath, Monica. Monica, I need where's my inhaler? You've done a lot.
You have done a lot.
A lot. That's awesome.
Wow. Yes, it is.
And everything for the betterment of someone else. That's amazing.
Definitely.
And to think, looking at her from the outside, you wouldn't think she went through any of that.
Wow. Yeah.
God is good. The Creator is
Oh, yes, he
just
is.
awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, I commend you. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's quickly share with the listening audience, who is Monica Johnson in a nutshell? Who is she?
Well, my mission in life is to live a breathtaking life so that I
Okay.
can help others reclaim themselves.
That's
And so helping others reclaim themselves is mean that, you know how we abandon ourselves. You know, a lot of us some have experienced divorce, death, you know, low self-esteem, you know, depression, suicidal thoughts, and all kind of things. But I think when you step into that space of owning who you are and knowing who you are without seeking people's approval,
Right.
you begin to seek your approval. And that's what I do. I can look at someone and I can see the brokenness, and I can pull that thing out, and I can command it to live. I can command that person to live. Because I don't think you go through all these tragedies in life and not have the power behind it. So that's what God has allowed me to do. He's given me that strength and that power. Because if I was a weak person, then I wouldn't be able to command anything.
That's right.
And I think that when you look in the Bible and you look at the stories, so this is who I am. I'm very direct. When you look at the stories in the Bible, he always used people who had a greater cause for great people.
Okay.
To help them become better, to help them be pulled out of their areas, no matter what they've been through.
Right.
But it allows you to see the illumination of who they are and what they become. And that's been my assignment. That's my assignment to the world, is to make sure that we all live this breathtaking life. No matter what's happened to us, no matter how it broke us, we are not defined by those circumstances. And so that's what I do. I love it. I love engaging in people. I work for the Fortune 100 company, United Parcel Service. I've been there almost 25 years.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm a tech. Now, my personality with all this bubbliness and hyperness, you would never think I would be in accounting.
Right. Exactly. Answer me a question.
I'm in accounting. Yeah.
Let me ask a question. Now, I heard you say that when you see the brokenness in people and you speak life into them. Now, is this like an ongoing process, or is this something that happens instantly? You know, because you, as a minister, you can speak over people, but do you need to be in their lives, or for them to hear you more, to be, you know, for that to take effect?
Let me say this. I think it's always an ongoing process.
Okay.
Because even myself, no matter what I've been through, from that little girl now,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times you're not talking to the adult person. You're talking to the little person that's inside. I believe that a lot of us are little girls and little boys in grown-up pain.
Right,
And
right.
so you got to always nourish it. You got to always feed it. You got to always talk to it and pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to seek counseling. So if I continue to seek counseling, then I think it's always an ongoing process.
Okay.
When you can find somebody you can be safe with, though. That's the key. Gotta
That's
be
true.
somebody you can be safe with.
Wow.
That's true.
We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, we were.
You know, it's funny that the stigma of counseling is rampant in the United States. Oh, he's going to counseling. He's seeing a therapist. You know, the Bible says, be in the midst of wise counsel. That means go get some counseling.
Right.
We all
Nothing's
need. There's
wrong with counseling.
absolutely nothing wrong with counseling, but you made a very valid point.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go to that person that that you are in sync with and that you can trust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that way you can inspire an atmosphere of transparency, and you can get to the root of the problem if there is
Yeah,
one.
because and a lot of times, not listeners, but family is not always going to be understanding because they don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to hear about it. And so you're just left out there. So it's good to be able to, you know, talk with someone else that can help you with those issues.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
Well, I think family has a judgmental spirit.
That's right.
So they're too close to the connection of what has happened, and then based on our ethnicity, we've always said what goes on in this house stays
in this house.
Ooh.
That's
what's
right.
happened, that's where the problem has started, because we keep all these secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was 40 years old before I found out the guy who thought was my father wasn't my father. So I've never met either one of my parents. So these secrets destroy.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and look at our sicknesses, from diabetes to heart attacks, there's a spiritual connection to all the pain and the secrets that we've been inhaled inside, and we've never talked about them.
And you are
It's
so
created
right.
diseases that's killing our bodies.
That's so right. That's so right. Tell me, tell the listening audience and myself, I want to know, at what point in your life did you decide you wanted to be a leader? Like you fully decided, okay, I'm getting ready to turn this boat around. This is not working for me.
I can tell you it was amazing. I remember one day, I was probably in my early 20s still. It was right before I had that Damascus Road, right after I had the Damascus Road experience.
Okay.
I remember calling my guardian, and I said, you know, I just don't want to live anymore. You know, I wanted to be special to somebody. I wanted to have a birthday. I wanted somebody to call me and say, you know what, you're special. So that day when I called her, and I call her mom now. When I called her, I said, you know, I just don't want to live. I'm tired of not being loved. And she said, well, only fools kill themselves. And I said, oh, well, she won't get no credit for this.
Right.
So at that moment, I began to do an inventory of myself, and I began to value my good qualities.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? And I remember, Kelissa, at 5 years old, I remember when I was growing up, I was raised in a small town in East Texas called Chapel Hill, raised on a farm. At 5, I remember specifically saying to myself, I will not be a product of my environment.
Yes.
Now,
Oh my!
where did that come from?
I said that too when I was younger. It was between 5 and 8, and I thought, you know, what I was saying. I was like, oh, This is not going to be me. I don't want to live like this.
It would not be me. And so at that point, it was already ingrained at 5. But that day when I called her and she told me that only fools kill themselves, and because everything she said negative to me, because I was a teenage mom. When she told me I've had this baby, I'm not going to amount to anything. But everything she said negative to me, I did the opposite of, because I wanted to prove her wrong and prove society wrong.
Right.
But then that became an addiction, though. So don't miss all of these accolades and think they're working for my greater good now. But in the process, they were addictions. Because I was getting all these credentials, all these accolades to prove to people that I was somebody of value.
Wow.
So I had
Wow.
to remove that to reverse that. So we get all these things, but we're trying to prove to somebody that we're capable, that we have self-worth, we have self-value. Now, it's worked out for my good,
Right.
but going through it, it wasn't working out for my good.
Okay.
Wow. And it's a lot of times when we're going through something, we don't realize that we're not going through it for ourselves. We have to realize that everything that we go through is in order to help someone else out once we've come through it. It's amazing.
No, but as a society, we've become so hard-hearted. You know, it for having empathy, having any type of mercy, you know, or just looking at someone else's situation and saying, man, you know, let me pray for them, or what are they going through? How can I help them, or something like that? Yeah. We're just so hard, you know, and we're just like, you know, oh well.
And coming to that reality can even take place until you take a look in the mirror and love yourself, number one, and then learn how to love people.
Right.
You know, I inspire all the listening audience to go and find out what the definition of love is. And that's how not only you can have a barometer of who loves you, but if you're loving someone else too completely. You know, are you patient? Are you kind? Do you always push yourself out front? You know?
Right.
That's the barometer. So, you know, take inventory of yourself, most importantly of all, because you can't get to that point unless you know what the definition of love is, the true definition of love is.
And you know what, you're so true, because we don't understand the true definition of love. You accept anything. So as a teenage woman, I wanted love so bad that I stayed in domestic abuse relationships. He knocked my teeth out, and I still stayed. He had another girl pregnant, and I still stayed. Until I decided to have mirror ministry, to look in the mirror and say, let me talk to Monica. Let me see the value in who she is.
Mirror ministry, I like that.
Mirror ministry. When I looked in the mirror, I saw my freckles. And I was like, oh, nobody's going to think people with freckles are cute, because I didn't think they was cute.
Okay.
But then when you come to yourself, you know how the prodigal son came to himself? I came to myself and I said, wait a minute. Everybody don't get a chance to get freckles. So
That's right. That's right. I used to hate my freckles.
I got freckles.
I know, right?
Just kidding.
But you know what? Once you come to yourself, you realize I am divinely created by the Creator, exactly the way He wanted me to be created.
Yeah. It is amazing.
Yeah,
how he loves us. He gives the perfect example of self-esteem and how we should share in that self-esteem towards ourselves.
Right.
Are you still there, Miss Monica?
Oh yes, I'm still here.
Okay. But you know what? You're absolutely right. Growing up in a household full of women, I saw that same thing, and so my sisters having boyfriends that were abusive, maybe not physically, but verbally. And I was just sitting there as a young kid saying, wow, is that how being grown is supposed to be? I spent most of my childhood saying, I can't wait till I get grown. Then when I became an adolescent and saw what the real deal was, I was like, ooh, I might want to stay 12 for a minute, till I can get this thing together.
I saw a young lady, she put a post on Facebook, and she said, I don't like being grown. I want a refund. So,
wow.
No refunds, honey. No.
I love that mirror ministry thing.
Oh, yes.
That is
yes.
Can I borrow that, Miss Monica?
Oh yeah. Well, you know what I say about it too. When you get self-confidence, this is what I tell people. I don't worry about looking in the mirror now, because when I walk by, the mirror stops for me.
Oh, okay. I like that.
All right.
I like that. Oh my goodness.
That's awesome.
How about give the listening audience a few tips on how they can make that shift?
First of all, you have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge your place. You got to have self-awareness. You got to know exactly where you are.
Right.
If you are broken, in which a lot of us have experienced broken, if nobody raises their hand, then that means we're not having that truthful moment with ourselves. See, the highest definition of love is to thy own self be true.
To thine own self be true. That's right.
If you know yourself and you can acknowledge it, look, I've been through this, I've experienced this is where I am. But today, right now today, wherever you are, it starts over.
Right.
You get a chance to recalibrate your mind. You get a chance to say, you know what, I'm not looking at what happened yesterday, because yesterday is gone.
It's gone,
and if
right.
you say right in the present, and you say, look, I'm going to acknowledge I'm in this environment that I don't like. I'm at this job that's not fulfilling me. I'm in this relationship But guess what? I can right then and there make a change.
That's right.
You can make a change right where you are. You can say, I'm awakened today. My mind is illuminated. I'm open and I'm receptive to receive. But it's got to start with forgiveness. Let me tell you why. If I had not forgiven the lady who killed my mother, I would not be talking to you today. I actually stayed in her house. I wanted to know my sister. And because she killed my mother, my sister had nothing to do with it. But forgiveness is the key to everything you want to do in life. And because I forgave her, that started my opening process of who I am. I can walk in freedom. I'm no longer bound. Because how do you not forgive someone who ultimately altered my life?
Right. That's right.
I never seen. She altered my life, right?
And that forgiveness, like you said, is key, because as long as you don't forgive that person who wronged you, hurt you, or did whatever to you, if you don't forgive them, they're going on with their life. You're holding on to that baggage, and that's going to weigh you down.
And so I think when you start there with that process, you start looking at the self-acknowledgement. You start looking at what you can change.
Right.
Change what you can change, not the external things. So what I started doing, first of all, I started going to counseling. When I realized that I had been molested when I was a kid and I didn't know how to handle it, I didn't know what was happening to me and why I didn't like people and why could I never touch my daughter? Well, I had never been touched. See, I believe it's hard for you to tell me to do something if you hadn't experienced it. I had never been a daughter. So it was hard for me to be a mother.
Right.
Wow.
And I had to come to grips with what I was in my place in that position at the time to go back and reclaim the elements of my parts of my body that I had abandoned. I had abandoned me.
Wow.
I got to the final side of suicide when I wanted to kill myself. That's the highest form of abandonment, self-abandonment.
Wow.
It's suicide thoughts.
That's right.
So you gotta understand where you are, and it's okay, And you don't have to go to. Now I believe don't forsake not thy assembly, but it's a relationship with Him one-on-one.
That's right.
I found myself being more guilty when people would talk to me. Oh, go pray about it. But what did you do with it? Don't just give me no you.
That's right.
Make those scriptures applicable.
Right.
So I became one-on-one with God and said, you know what, you're going to have to teach me because obviously my mind is confused. I'm in doubt. I'm at a low point. So I recognized where I was. I was so broken. So broken. When you recognize where you are and you realize it, that's the beginning. If you can't get past that point, you can't get to the next point.
Okay.
Wow.
Right. This is awesome.
I could talk about this all day long because I
can tell. You're very passionate about this. But you know what? That's a wonderful thing because it's your calling. It's what you're supposed to do. This is what you were created for.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. I tell you, absolutely. But it took me 40 years to come out the wilderness, though.
Okay.
Well, hey, it's, you got to go through what you got to go through to help someone else.
Yeah,
That's right. That's
exactly.
right.
So you're trusted with it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I created this nonprofit foundation called That Girl Is Smart.
Okay.
Successful, magnificent, authentic, resourceful, and talented.
Oh.
Smart.
Okay. Is that
We're all
online?
smart. It's online. It's called thatgirlissmart.org or .com, and you can see the total movement. It's a
Thatgirlissmart.org
or .com.
or
I covered all
.com.
bases.
Okay, I'm going to
know
check
you
that
did.
out. Yeah, right. You make sure they
what-
get to you, right? I like that. I love it. I love everything that you're doing. This is so amazing. And I know it's helping a lot of people, If anyone wants to call in to speak with Monica or ask her a question, feel free to do so if you're in the Atlanta area, 404-355-8699. And if you're not, 1-866-923-2860.
You know, Miss Monica, you know what my pastor tells me in regards to forgiveness? He said, you got to forgive, and a lot of people will take that unforgiveness to a place to where it alters their life and how they get along, And unforgiveness, my pastor says, unforgiveness is like taking a cyanide tablet hoping somebody else die,
Right.
And so
Not going to happen.
when we get to the point of thinking about suicidal thoughts and how we're going to, we're really not doing that for ourselves. We're doing that to hurt the other person. But don't you know that other person ain't studying you no more?
No, 'cause their life is going to go
they
on.
are
but,
not.
But at this, and then when because I tried to commit suicide 3 times, but the last time I realized you're hurting yourself. You're not hurting anyone else. And how dare you think it's okay to say you're going to take your life when you didn't give your life to you?
Wow, yeah. And a lot of people do the suicide thing in order to hurt somebody else, but they're,
Yeah, and the person you're trying to hurt is
moved on. I forgot they wronged you.
right. We're with Monica Johnson. She's an awesome person.
Awesome.
I love everything that she stands for and what she's doing.
It's so amazing when you ask me who I am, because a lot of people say, "Oh, she's very direct, she's very bold." You better believe it.
I can
You
tell.
are.
I saw she did a video live feed yesterday, and she said she was trying to get on Facebook Live, and she's like, I wasn't going to give up.
I know.
And she did not. She did
You know,
not
this is
give
the
up.
thing. You can't tell me what I can't do.
Right. I do not like someone to tell me what I cannot do.
I know, that's right.
Yeah, you have that authority. And I believe that when we start reclaiming ourselves, when we start looking at the areas in our lives that we gave to somebody else, and they didn't value us, it wasn't because they didn't value us.
It's because we didn't value ourselves. Right. And
We
people are
give
trying to
them-
turn that around on you.
Yeah, and for so many of us, we do. We allow, because you know why? We look at the status quo of what the church says. You know, what the church always tells us, don't think so highly of yourself than you ought to.
Yes.
But where does the second commandment comes in when it says to love yourself as you love your neighbor, to love your neighbor as you love yourself? You got to love yourself.
Right.
Don't confuse the word of God.
That's right.
That's right. Yep. High level self-esteem is a commandment.
Yeah.
Yeah, love yourself.
You're supposed to. Why? I mean, if he can love you through all your mess, then you can love yourself too.
You know somebody who loves themselves when they walk in the room, everybody, they might not be the most beautiful person in the world, but when they walk in the room, you just say, wow, there's just something about that person. It's that self-esteem, and a lot of people just call it the Holy Spirit, you know. It acknowledges you, who you are in Christ. Christ says we're a whole lot of things. We're kings and priests. We're his messengers. You know, we're shod with, our feet are shod with the preparation of the gospel. You know, he says that we're his righteousness. We're his we cooperate with him on earth.
Things about us as his children.
Yeah.
But yet we'll sit and listen to
what the world says we are. But, you know, he ugly. Oh, he ain't going to be nothing when he grow. He just like his daddy. Remember his daddy, you know. But the Bible says that we are, as Christ was on this earth, so are we. You know? And so, man, poke your chest out. Push them shoulders back.
That's right.
Realize who you are, who God says you are. And walk in that thing. Be humble about it. Humble power is powerful.
And you gotta love yourself. Tell yourself. I don't care. Just start looking at yourself.
Confess it. Like you said, do mirror ministry. Man, thank you, Lord, for waking me up this morning. I am the righteousness of God. I am an ambassador to the kingdom of heaven. Oh my gosh, that's who I am. Man, I'm made in your image. I'm powerful. As the same power that raised Christ from the dead, that resides in me. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna walk out here in total victory today, right now.
You know what? Yes, and you do it standing in your Wonder Woman pose.
That's right. That's right.
Wonder Woman pose.
Well, it is time to take a break.
Yep, a short break. We'll be
In
right
case
back
you're
with
just tuning in, you're listening to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. Don't you touch that dial. We'll be right back. Yes, we'll be right back. We're back. In case you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Kelissa in the Morning Show with
Yes,
Miss
we are.
Kelissa Bass. Having a spirited conversation, man. We've been talking about this awesome. Did I say that many?
Yeah.
As
I think
many
you got
times
10
I
more
need
times.
to. Awesome. Monica Johnson.
Yes.
We were just talking over the break, and we were like, man, I would be proud, but I can't be proud. I just have to be in awe of all of the accomplishment that you've experienced. You have a
Given what you've gone
nonprofit.
through.
You're
Yeah.
a speaker. You're a minister.
A life coach.
Life coach.
Who better to be?
Oh my God, she got .com and .org.
Right.
Oh Lord. And then she got humble and said, "I'm just trying to cover all bases."
Right.
So we know you're out there working on your dissertation for your PhD, right?
Oh my God! You know what? That's my next level.
I told you. He said, "Where's her PhD?" I said, "I'm sure she's working on that."
I know you are.
That's my next level. I actually was beginning to apply for to do my doctoral, but then I got this chance to do this TED Talk.
Okay.
which
Oh,
is
you're
one
going to
of
do a
my-
TED Talk?
Yes, actually in Atlanta, September the 15th at some theater there. It's a TED, yeah.
Oh, God,
It-
you have to
it's-
send me the information. I want to come.
That would be
It is
awesome.
so amazing to where, and it's talking about, how some of the things I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at me, you don't see it. But I can't give away the whole subject of it. But
I know,
the
right?
fact that it was on my vision board,
Okay.
and I never would have. I believed that it could happen,
Right.
but I didn't think that it would come through this avenue and how it happened. One application, one time. This ideal has never been talked about before,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that God trusted me with it.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
him.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
a big
you. Thank
platform
you.
there. That
That's
is
a huge platform.
Yes, it is. She said it's not big. This
So
is huge, and you are right because I watch those,
Yeah.
and I often envision myself doing a TED Talk, and I'm like, wow. Now I'm talking to someone who's actually going to be there.
Wow.
Yeah, September the 15th in Atlanta, and UPS is one of the sponsors of it. Of course, I work for UPS.
Okay.
There was 200 entries submitted from all over the country. We have 400 and some thousand employees, right?
Uh-huh.
And they only chose 12 of us.
Wow.
Wow.
Get out of
Bigger
here.
than life. God
That
is
is
good.
God.
You
Yes,
know,
it is.
we were talking yesterday about when we're going through how we feel like, man, am I going to stay down much longer, or is it going to be forever? And God gave us a promise. He says, "Be humble, because when He exalts you, it's going to be total and complete, and it's going to blow your mind." And so here we
telling you.
are.
Yes, my prayer to Him every day is, God, I'll humble myself. You just keep using me.
That's right.
And the awesome thing about God is he doesn't mind using a broken vessel.
Not at all.
Because he knows that you're human. He knows that, and he said, "Wow, if you're willing, I can use you." And so you might botch it up, but he said He'll come through and straighten out all the little crooked places. It's just the most amazing master
And
that
then
we
when people
have.
see you, they think they're still looking at the old person. Yeah, I'm not that person anymore.
And then they want to say, "I knew you went." No. Yeah, you did. You did. Yes, you did.
Yeah, you knew that person. Yeah, but Monica,
Awesome.
so this has been an awesome show. I really appreciate you coming onto the show. You've been very inspirational to myself, Jay, as well as the listening audience. But tell the audience where they can get in touch with you to support what you're doing, or to get more information, to buy your book, all that good stuff that they.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
You
welcome.
and Jay have been so wonderful. Thanks for having me on. I've truly enjoyed it. The information about me is at www.themonicajohnson.com. All my book information is there. My social media is there. Like my Twitter handle is @MonicaJohnson, and so is the Instagram. But if you go to themonicajohnson.com, you'll get all my information. Even That Girl Is Smart is linked to it, so you'll get everything about me.
Okay.
And just know that I think a smile is a game changer.
Okay.
That when you smile, you shift, you manifest, you influence, you lift, and you execute.
Oh, wow. Now say that again. When you smile, you shift.
When you smile,
Mhm.
you shift out of your brokenness.
Shift.
You manifest what you want.
Manifest what you want.
You influence yourself first.
Influence yourself first.
Then you can go lift someone else.
Lift someone else.
And all that's left is execution.
Execution. I love that.
Smile.
Wow. You are just full of all kind of goodies.
That's all that energy.
I know.
I know. You know what? It's so funny because they tell me, Monica, you got to remember you're in the accounting department. But look, you know my personality when you put me over here.
That's right. Hey, and then after a while, it's going to start rubbing off.
It has.
I'm
my
sure.
God, I am so hyper. People are like, where do you get this from? And it's just a natural high.
I was going to ask you what supplements you take.
know,
Can you
right?
send me a packet, just a sample packet? I'm just asking.
Bottle that up.
I'm a farm girl from Tyler, Texas, like Chapel Hill, actually 18 miles out of Tyler, Texas. I was raised on a farm, feeding the pigs and feeding the chickens and planting everything we ate.
Okay.
It's just a natural high from him. It's a natural high.
That's right.
That's a blessing.
That's what we all need.
I love that. Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We are short of time, but we've had a great time.
Yes, we have.
It's
we have.
been like
Thank you so much, Monica.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay. All right. Well, Kelissa.
Yes.
Man, another awesome
Another
show.
awesome show. Another awesome guest. Oh, my goodness. I could just feel the energy.
Yeah.
That she had.
She gave me energy. I didn't even need the cup of coffee I had before I got in here. Yeah, injection time.
Right. Oh, my
Energy,
goodness. And we're going to do some mirror ministry, is it?
Mirror ministry.
Yes.
Take a look in the mirror.
Take a look in the mirror at yourself.
Take inventory.
To thine own self be true.
Yeah.
And let's be great.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
That's what we were created to be.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
That's right.
Today on the Kelissa in the Morning show. We want you to know that we are absolutely grateful for your support.
Yes, we are.
You've been listening to Kelissa in the Morning show. We hope you enjoyed the time we spent together this morning. We are confident. We are so confident that you are educated and absolutely inspired. So tune in next week on WAEC
Love 860.
AM, Atlanta's Inspirational Talk Radio. And so, listen, we gotta go ahead and acknowledge our sponsors again. One more time.
Yes, we do. To Booth Foy with TNT Creations,
Yep.
where the feeling of life begins.
That's right. And
Candace Ruffin.
Candace, you're
out
doing
there
an
in
awesome
Katy,
job.
Texas.
Katy, Texas.
With Greater Works Missions.
Greater Works Missions.
Yes.
So we love you all with all our hearts.
Yes.
Again, you've been listening to the Kelissa in the Morning show. Tune in every Thursday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on WAEC Love 860, Atlanta's Inspirational Talk Radio.
And to all my listeners, I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make it a great day.
Have a great day.
Good morning.
Thank you for listening to Kelissa in the Morning. Be sure to tune in every Thursday, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on WAEC